Hi everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. This is Mr. Felix with another tutorial for y'all. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to learn how to make a standing figure with the Glowforge. Standing figure Glowforge. Um, yeah. So basically maybe something like this or um, this is when you get really good at this process, right? Today it'll be more like these, just an image with that stands with a base, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. The first thing we need to learn about this is something called kerf, and kerf is kind of easy to understand, hard to master. Every material in the Glowforge has a little bit of material that it loses when the laser is actually hitting the material, right? So you can imagine if this is my laser beam and it's cutting this piece, the kerf is the amount of piece that is being lost. So if you print something that is 1 by 1, it's not actually going to be 1 by 1. There's a little bit of math that we have to do in order to understand how much material it loses. And the reason we need to do that is that we need to make sure that these stands for our figures are really, like that one, are really tight. And we can do this by simply going into Adobe Illustrator, clicking New File. I always click Open. New File, and we can have, it doesn't matter what size our thing is, uh, square for kerf, square for kerf, create, and what we can do in here, oops, I have my thing set from the last video to have 2 artboards, so you can change that back to 1 artboard. Square for kerf, I'll close the other one out, and all I have to do for this is go into rectangle tool, click in the middle, and make sure that this is a 1 by 1, and it will make a perfect square. I don't want you to mess with this square or do anything with this square. I'm just gonna make sure it's in the middle by putting it in the center like that. And that's a 1 by 1 square. Take off the fill and make the stroke red because red is cut, remember? And we can export this as kerf, square for kerf. And now we can send it to the Glowforge. Create new design, upload a file, downloads, square for kerf. And now we can, what we're going to do is we are going to cut a square out of whatever material is that we're going to be using. This material right here, you can see it's medium clear acrylic, and somebody left this machine on at work. So make sure to turn the machines off. All right, cool, whatever. And what's interesting about this process is that clear acrylic and medium ash hardwood are going to have different curves because it actually has different settings for the different materials. So whatever material that you're doing your kerf in, that's the material that you're going to be using for your final design. So what I want you to do is choose whatever material it is that you're going to be doing, and choose, and then print out this 1 by 1 block, cut it out, measure it, and you'll get something like 0.95 inches or something. You're going to be using the calipers at school, caliper, and it's just a super easy digital ruler basically that you put your piece right here, and it'll tell you how much it loses. That way, when you make your cut, your stand, you can make sure your square is exactly this size. You're also going to make sure that your square is exactly as thick as your material. So you're going to measure the thickness of your material. And medium ash hardwood is going to be a different thickness uh, thick, then thick medium ash hardwood, or thick black acrylic, or thick cherry plywood. It's kind of basic, but you're gonna have to measure the thickness of the material that you're gonna be using. For this demonstration, we're gonna pretend that the material that I'm using has some kind of thickness, right? I'll show you right now. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a design. So these are already vectorized for y'all. They're just little panthers that you can try to play with for this assignment. So that way you don't have to make a vector yourself if you don't have the time or if you're behind. And just download one of these panthers. Boom, download Panther SVG 3. Go into here, click on File, Place, Control Shift P for me, Panther 3, and I'm gonna put it like that size. Cool. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to do the thing we did last time. Offset path, offset path. Okay. Now I'm gonna unite everything, and I'm gonna have the issue that some of you might have had last time where not everything connected. So then I'm gonna um, do that one. And I will make sure that all of the little pieces get put into this design. Boom. Might have had an issue. I might have deleted my whole design. Fill, nothing. Stroke, right. Okay, I did delete my whole design. All right, let's see what happened. I think it's just all grouped. Okay. Um, before I'll just move it, I guess. Okay, cool. And these little marks are gonna. If I leave that mark, it's gonna be darker than the rest of the marks. And then I will make sure the stroke is red. Make sure the stroke is red. Cool. I don't know why that. Oh, that's why it happens. Ungrouped all that. And try to. Yep. Adobe will tell you when it's perfect, and you're gonna do it like this. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna select it a square. And this square base can be any size. And I'm going to select both this and this. However, when we make this square base here, we have to know what the width is. I'm gonna make it 1.5 just to make it easier for the math part, and add them together, and you are going to image trace them together. So now I have a small um, base. Yes, that should work. Okay, cool. I'm gonna add an artboard, edit artboards, just because it's a little easier to see it on the same plane. All right, on this second one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the base, and my base can just be a circle, or it can be more elaborate. You could do a square and a circle. I've seen a lot of people do their bases like this, and there's probably a reason for it. I should do. I should probably I should do this. I will actually base base. Okay, cool. Now my bases. Now I have to make sure that the square I make here, so that way my figure can stand, is the exact same as this one. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make a square, and whatever my kerf is, I'm going to subtract. So let's say my kerf was 0.05, then I'm going to make my actual width of this 1.45. And I'm getting the 4.5 from the 1.5 here. And then the height of this is actually going to be the thickness of the material I'm using. So this could be anywhere from, I don't remember how, like thickness of Glow Glowforge medium clear acrylic images. Actually, this will tell me 1/8 of an inch. I would really go if I was at school. I would measure it myself and then put that in. Let's say it's 1/8 inches, so 1/8 an inch, and that's gonna be my hole. That's gonna be what I'm gonna do for this, and then I'm gonna make sure that this is in the middle. And then when I send this to cut, I'll have. Mm, this doesn't have to be so, but it could be like this, and this should fit into this, and I'll know that when I send it to the Glowforge. So I can click File, Export As. Um, I'm gonna use all the artboards instead of just choosing two SVG. This SVG is gonna be our Panther figure. Okay, I'm gonna send it to the Glowforge by going to my Glowforge, create a new design, upload design, Panther figure. Is that what I named it? Oh, Panther figure 1 and Panther figure 2. Uh-huh. I can only do one at a time. So here's my Panther figure. You can see it's cool. And then the second one will be in my downloads, Panther figure 2 SVG, throw it in here. And that will be my little stand for this. So when it prints out, it should be a standing little panther face. Um, this is just the example. Once you get good at this, you can make a standing Mario Kart thing. You could do a number of different designs. Um, yeah, not too crazy. For some reason, it's engraving this twice, so I'm gonna ignore one of those because one engraving is gonna be enough. And yeah, you could also score this and put a sticker in here if you wanted to do that instead, right? The possibilities start getting endless once you start understanding all the different tools you have access to in the Glowforge and with the vinyl plotter. And the next couple of sessions, we're gonna keep learning how to use Illustrator. All right, have a good rest of your day. Hopefully this one wasn't too bad. Thank you.